Hi everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Boldly Growing. My name is Liz Pollard, and my business is Enabling Bold Moves. So, I help people to boldly grow into their unknown. So, predominantly business owners who are looking to take that next step in their business and looking for where to go next. And really what needs to happen for that is that we need some personal growth to be able to get that business growth. So this podcast is entirely about that. It's about helping you with your personal growth so that you can help your business to grow. And to help me to do that, I'm going to be speaking to some people who have boldly grown their business by going into the unknown with courage. And so I'm really, really pleased that my first guest today is going to be Anne Williamson from Customer Love. Hello, Anne.
Hello, thanks very much.
So Anne and myself met each other purely since beginning of lockdown, and our relationship has developed. We had a weekly chat, didn't we, on Zoom?
We did.
Helping each other to grow our business and holding each other accountable as well along the way, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
So we've made some bold moves ourselves. So today Anne and I are going to talk about obviously her business, Customer Love, customer service. So you'll by the end of this podcast you'll get some tips from Anne on customer service and how you can create that love from your customers. And we're also going to talk a lot about relationships as well today, because Anne and I both have a mutual passion for how relationships help us in business. So over to you, Anne. So thank you again for joining me. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you so much, Liz. And you're right, we didn't know each other before lockdown. How incredible is that? And the relationship has grown, and it's grown from having a shared value, but also we both have that same sense. So you look at a business from the employees and communication with employees, and I look at it from communication with customers. So I think you have a love aspect in your business.
Yeah, you're right, actually, and they do tie together really nicely, don't they?
They do.
And I'm excited for everyone to hear from you as well, Anne. Some of the things that you've done in your business, because I think you can really inspire other people. So just tell us, please, where have you boldly grown in your business?
Okay. So I set up 7 years ago. My background is in marketing, and I've done it for, 30 odd years. And I set up 7 years ago because I wanted to work from home, and my son was going through GCSE stage, and it's like, do you know what, I think I need to be at home and just crack the whip a bit. So that was my reason for setting up.
Yes, yeah, and your son is very much, isn't he, Conrad, is your reason why?
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is lovely, and that's the love side of it as well, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. And he's turning out to be, he's won so many things with customer service as well, which blows me away because he doesn't work with it at all. But obviously, it's something within our DNA, I think.
Brilliant. So in 7 years then, what are the key points that sort of stand out to you where you've had to be bold, and grow your business?
Okay. So when I first set out, and this is something I talk to other people about, don't fixate on everything having to be the same as when you first started out. Your business will change as you change and as you start to work for yourself and set up your whole company. The change happens, and so being bold about that and not being afraid of change is a big thing for me. Back in 2016, so 4 years ago, I wrote my first book called Are You a One Night Stand Business?
I just love that title.
It's quite spooky.
We've all had those.
Yeah. We haven't both just said that, have we, Liz? In business we've
had them. In business, yeah, of course.
So the book for me was a huge move, and it was me putting my thoughts out there. I wrote it to help people because I really wanted businesses, having worked with so many different businesses, I didn't want people to make mistakes that could be easily avoided through knowing a little bit more about how things work. So I decided to write the book, and that was a big step for me.
Yeah.
And I think the boldest bit was when I actually put it up onto LinkedIn and asked for feedback. So it was that I'd written it, and rewritten it, and then it was like, do you know what? I need other people's feedback.
That's such a brave thing to do.
It was, and even when it got printed, to actually then have people buy it and talk about it, and it was like, oh gosh, this is a bit like going outside naked, going, hey, having people's opinions and their interpretations was, that was a big bold move.
There's a real vulnerability there, isn't there? You know, of putting yourself out there and seeing, you know, what people think.
Yeah, it absolutely. And you don't realize it until you do it. You know, I kind of thought about the book had always been there, but actually sort of going, here's my book kind of thing. It's like, whoo, what have I done here? But you know, it's been great. And
what was the impact of that feedback, and what did you learn?
When I put it out as I've written this book, I'd love people's feedback because I'm not sure, is it right, etc. You know, I can't see the wood for the trees. And it was fantastic because I got 12 people. I only put it out so I'm just looking for half a dozen people. I got 12 people, 8 of whom I didn't know. And that was brilliant because they were not thinking about me.
Yes. So you didn't have that relationship with them. So you knew that was going to be completely unbiased then. Yeah.
And it was tough. You know, it came back and every single person said the same thing about one particular aspect because I based it around Take Me Out at first, the dating program.
I love that program, Paddy McGuinness.
Yeah, me too.
No liking, no lighting.
Absolutely, and just the whole concept so clever, and how it ties in with business is very, very clever. And so when everybody came back and said, Take Me Out bit's too long, I was just like, oh no, right, okay. And then it was one of my friends who just said, but Anne, you talk about dating all the time. You talk about being in business is just like dating. I went, you know, just go, duh, how did I not see that?
Yes. Can you just talk a little bit more about that concept, and just to explain for people listening who haven't yet read the book, you know, what precisely do you mean about being in business is like dating?
Yeah. So being in business, it's all about the relationships you build, and it's about how you have relationships that actually are meaningful. So the book, you know, Are Your One Night Stand Business, is aimed at people who potentially don't realize that they are treating their customers like a one night stand, going, who's next?
Yes.
So the relationship building starts right back at the very beginning, from when somebody comes across you. So a bit like you and I came across each other, didn't know anything about each other, and then there's something that makes you go, do you know what? I'd like to find out more.
Yes.
That's on your website.
Yeah. That connection, isn't it, that you get with people?
Yeah. And, you know, and that happens, you know, whether it's a leaflet through the door, somebody's passed your business card, they don't know anything about you, but how they feel at that stage is whether makes them decide whether they carry on with that relationship. So the relationship building to me is absolutely crucial in the growth of business. And if you have a relationship that is amazing with your customers, whether you sell something that's only bought once in their whole life, if you've got a great relationship and you've made them feel really special and valued, they will talk about you all the time.
I love that.
Yeah, just like, you know, Sally in the office goes, oh my God, I went out with Mark last night. And let me tell you, you did this and you did that. That is what your customers will do if you have a great
and don't we all want that, you know, let's be honest. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm interested then, Anne, as well, in terms of, like, we both have a shared love for learning, I think, and you've already shared some of the things that you learned, but how has this impacted on you personally? So where have you developed through this journey of, you know, transforming your business, putting a book out there? How's it impacted on you?
Okay, so I guess I've taken my own medicine, and I've also looked at my business, and it started off as a marketing company, and it was like, hang on a sec, I'm not about marketing. I'm about the relationship aspect. So I developed my business from that and realizing. I think the other things as well are things. So at the beginning, it was mainly consultancy and mentoring. And then from the book, I ended up with a training client. And so now the business is primarily doing customer service training.
Training, right. Yeah.
And that's a bold move for me, because, that's quite different from standing up and just delivering something. So to actually develop training programs,
there's quite a difference, isn't there, between presenting and training. How did you personally adapt to that transition? Because I think that would be something that our people listening might be interested in, because we're all having to do a bit of that, aren't we?
Yeah. So with the training aspect, it's really about, rather than just delivering, it's about involving people. And I guess I do involve people ordinarily, but I've never written it as a proper training program. So I might have designed what I was going to deliver, but that was just for people to make their own notes and take it away and think about what they're going to do. Whereas with training, it's very, very hands-on. So much so that one of my clients brought me in then to carry on training and working week on week with a couple of his sales teams. So that training aspect has really opened up a whole new market to me, and I love it.
Yeah. What do you love about it?
I love seeing the light bulb click in people. I love where people get it, because my training is different. I was dating. I remember my first pieces of feedback, and somebody said it was very suggestive at times, and I was like, that was me, that was you. But it's all about, it's about love, and it's about dating, and for me it's about stories. So the more stories you tell them, the easier it is for people to understand. And you can probably tell, I don't just stand there and go, right, so today what we're going to do is click PowerPoint 1.
Yeah. You're fun, aren't you? You're fun, you're charismatic, so that comes across to people when you're training. It brings it alive for them.
Yeah. And I want people, when I'm training, I want them to work together. So we do end up with projects at the end of it, and people have to take ownership of projects. So if training is left, how many training courses have you and I probably both been on where you come away and it's like, yeah, that's great. And, it's in that box of notes down there, or it's always on the shelf, or, I don't know where it even is. I want people to actually make progress from it.
Brilliant. And that's the same, isn't it, in your book as well, about taking action and what are you going to do differently with this. And I think we both really agree on that as well. That's where the development happens, isn't it? So yeah, where have you found like the biggest hurdle for you, which might have been the biggest challenge to take a step forward?
Okay, so I would say that customer service is one of those things. We can all moan about businesses, and I do use a lot of negative stories around customer service, but I'm the same with feedback. I want the negative feedback because those are where you grow. And so quite often people will talk about bad customer service, and yet when you start to talk to people about customer service, they all think they're amazing.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest challenge, is where people, it's a bit like somebody saying, oh, you need to go on a diet. And I go, I think I was 8. It's that acceptance, isn't it? And
yes.
People don't want to be told that, they should lose some weight. People don't want to be told that their customer service could be improved. So that's probably the biggest stumbling block. However, when I look back at the people that I work with, there are actually people who have great customer service, but will really want great.
Yeah, like exceptional. They want to take it to a higher level. Yeah.
Or they realise that maybe as part of their growth, where they've grown and grown and grown, that actually maybe customer service is slipping slightly. So they're prepared to invest, and they understand why. So they've already got a great business and they've got a great team, but they just feel that maybe there's something not quite right.
Yeah.
So,
From your experience, Anne, like, what are the things that people miss? You know, what? Because I'm curious, when you go into businesses and you sort of, with all your experience, you'll be able to see straight away this is what they're doing wrong. What are some of the key things that you see people missing?
Okay, communication. Every single customer communication, and communication within teams, which is something we've talked about. Communication is absolutely key. It's right down to the just simplest of things. I went to do a training session with a company. I said, oh, would you send me an email with your address and everything on it? So went along to it, and it was on a big business park, as lots of businesses are. Could I see where they were? And I was like, oh my goodness me. And this has happened with other businesses as well.
Yes.
Round and round and round. And eventually I actually saw them because they were outside the business. I said, oh, right, I'll just go and park up down there and everything. I said, I've actually been here 10 minutes. I've been driving around. They said, oh, it happens loads, that. And that to me is like, that's a red light going.
Yes.
One person's telling us how many people have tipped up and gone, actually, I can't find them. I'll go somewhere else.
Yes. So it's when people get that feedback and they don't do anything with it, that it continues and it continues and it continues. And you're right. I think that does happen in teams as well. And I know a friend recently was saying she's just taken on a leadership role and she's sort of identified some areas in that team for improvement. And the team said, yeah, we've been saying for ages that this needs to change. So it's like, well, why have those changes not been made? Why have the team not been listened to? So it's that two-way engagement, isn't it, Anne, with the communication?
It is, listen to your customers, involve them, ask them. I'm a big one for asking for feedback, running focus groups, whatever.
Yeah.
But you saying that team there that you're talking about, eventually people will, a bit like customers and employees, they will go, do you know what? I'm not even going to contribute anymore.
Yeah, they'll just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible situation to be in, whether that's
Absolutely.
within or within your customers.
Yeah, and then the impact of that, when you've got people in your team that are customer facing, if that's retail maybe or hospitality, what signs do we see, when there is that lack of engagement?
We see it all the time, don't we? We see the people on the till who are chatting to their mate and you're stood there waiting to pay, and then you just say, do you know what? I'm not coming back here anymore.
Yeah.
Within a team, it's where you see, the team will start to, whether they, no matter how passionate they are about their customers, they will start to be a bit sort of Debbie Downer and things like that. So, that having that involvement and that engagement does affect, either side of the role as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I've come across that as well. And as you say, and it's if you're in a pub or a cafe or like say a shop, and you get that kind of service, and you say, I'm not going back there, but you don't just leave it at that. You then go and tell your friends, don't you? Or you put it on Facebook, or you leave them a TripAdvisor, and that negative feedback can be huge, can't it?
It has a massive impact. Oh yeah, we want to have a quick moan and all the rest of it. That's what happens in the majority of cases. People want the moan. It is very rare. The number of people who, it's something like 20 times, will tell 20 people a bad experience and will tell 4 a good one. It's the numbers are there, so you have to consider that, and you must always be aware about what your customers are thinking. And I would say, as we come out of the situation we're now with lockdown, obviously this will, if somebody listens to this in a couple of years, like,
like lockdown, what's that? Yeah.
Communication is absolutely key, with your team, especially is, you'll find this, won't you?
Yes.
Communicate how you're communicating now with your team as maybe they're coming back into the work environment, but also how you're communicating with your customers. I went on something the other day and it was like, are you open? Are you not open? I don't know.
Yeah.
there.
Definitely. And you know, I had a conversation with one of my customers the other day, and they're having a really hard time. You know, like their customers is just non-existent at the moment, and it's really hard for them. So I think as well as something, and you can tell me about this, and about not just contacting people when you want business from them, you know, just being there for them, just phoning them up just to see how they are.
Absolutely. And that's the bit that quite often determines your next sale as well. So you know, that's a bit like going on a date, and you know, you all the build up to the date.
Oh, here she comes now. Yeah,
here we go again. So before the date is like before the sale, so all that anticipation of arranging it, what you're going to do, etc. The date itself is, you know, the actual placing the order and having the order delivered, etc. And then after the date, that's when you're sat there going, not texting with me.
Yeah, no text, and you keep
see me again or not?
Keep, you know, checking.
Am I being ghosted or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that happens in business. You know, people go, who's next? Off I go, and I'm going to talk to Sal over here, and I'm going to talk to Bob over there. But actually, we shouldn't lose that communication, and it doesn't matter. You know, that person is buying for you. You must keep in communication. I do really simple things. So I've got some cards. I'm going to disappear off screen now. I'll just quickly get a couple.
Brilliant.
Sorry.
Nice branding there in the background as well, if you're watching on screen. Yeah. But I was just thinking, just while you're getting it, it's that love works both ways, doesn't it? It's not just about customers loving us. We have to genuinely love them, don't we? And not just them as a customer, but them as a person. And from what you're showing here with the cards as well, yeah.
Yeah, just really simple things. So, you know, I have a thank you card that I send out to people. I've got another one that's got a pencil on it. And if I've seen something that is, so today I've seen something on LinkedIn. I've got a client who works within the construction industry, and it's like, send private messages a lot on LinkedIn, connect a lot. But I'll also drop things. So if I've seen something in the post, if I've seen something out there that, say for yourself, Liz, and I saw something on team communication, I think, do you know what, Liz is like that? Yeah. I might just pop it in the post. Yeah. It just shows you I'm thinking about you. Yeah. I'm not looking for the next sale. I'm genuinely interested in you as a business. Yeah. So I've got another. So this is my Valentine's
I've had one of those. They're beautiful.
And they're all branded, you know, so they're all drawn up, but these are my characters. But I'm forever doing that, you know, that communication. And it is that one thing, it's not about a sale. And also, you have constant communication with somebody, they are also seeing you. And so when somebody else is then talking about what you do, they go, oh, you need to speak to Liz about this. This is what happens. You know, people don't get that. They just sort of think, oh, well, she's bought off me now, and off I go, you know, go someone do something completely different. No.
You're right. And
if you nurture it.
Yeah, and you're right. And I think like referring people or recommending other services for them and associates, it's another way that we can add value, isn't it? You know, so yeah. Brilliant. So there's so much I'm learning as well, and there's so much there. And would you mind just condensing it down for us, please? Can you give us just your 3 top tips then, please? So if we want to really develop that customer love and give that outstanding service, what would be your 3 top tips, please?
Okay. So these are kind of not tips straight away, but treat me like a hot date. Don't treat me like the person who you're going to sit across the table. We see them everywhere. You know, they're not even talking. They go shopping, they eat, whatever, and they don't talk. Don't be that person. Don't be that relationship. So to build that relationship, it's all about communication and relationship building. So tip 1, always think about your communication and think about the way you're communicating. Okay. Genuinely engage with your customers. You know, no matter whether they're only buying for you once, etc. I do a thing around this, around 2 specific cars that I bought previously, and the only communication I get are sales message, sales message, sales message. Nothing. Not even one of them sent me a magazine. Obviously, I'm not going to say who it is. Sent me a magazine 12 months after I purchased the car, where I obviously became a potential next purchase.
Yes.
Don't be that person. Spend that £3 a quarter on sending me that magazine. So genuinely engage with somebody. And then for me, the third one is feedback. Ask for feedback in whatever format. You know, even if that's a simple, did everything go okay? But do it in a genuine way. We've all got those feedback things, I'm sure, sat in our inbox, sat on text. You know, what did you think? How would you rate us? No. Ask me some genuine questions that will show me that you care about whether I interact back with you on
about my opinion.
Yeah. Genuine questions. I always say to clients, do not ask a question that you will not change your business over.
I love that.
It's so simple, but the number of people who just say, rate us 1 to 10 this, rate us 1 to 10 on that. And it's like, wow, okay.
I know, which is it's all very well having that data, isn't it? And being able to say, look, our percentage has gone up this year, you know, and like 9 out of 10 people would recommend us and things. And that's all very well, and it makes you feel good. But how can you improve based on that information?
And there's a story, I'm trying to think which of my 2 books it's in, where I talk about a water company where I'd had a problem with a leak, and they came out, and obviously they had to come out and they sorted it all out, and they still, you know, you could have a water meter fitted. And I was like, oh, right, okay, no, that sounds great. I'm quite happy to do that. Talk me through it. Right, the guy will come, and he'll come on this particular day. He'll check whether you can have the water meter or not, and if you can, he'll do it there and then. Brilliant. So I book the time out, and you and I both know when you work for yourself, it's
precious.
Time out of your business during the week is quite hard, and the same, you know, if you've taken time off work to go and wait for appointment. So sure enough, that on the day the guy tipped up, oh, I've come to have a look. Yeah, no problem at all. To have it fitted. Okay. Right. So when do you want it fitted? I went, well, now. I went, well, the person on the phone said you could, and this is what would happen. So I ended up cancelling it. I thought, I can't take another session of time.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I got the phone call about the feedback, it was there's a very famous scoring system. And they ask only 2 questions, one of which is, how would you rate us on the service, 1 to 10, and then the second one is, would you recommend us? Now, when it comes to water, you can't recommend anybody else, because whatever area you're in, you get water. So pointless question.
Yeah, get your water from these people. It's amazing.
You know, it's like, what? And so I said to the girl on the phone, I said, well, I would actually have given you a 10 ordinarily, because the service was absolutely fabulous. But then, however, when the second guy came back and he let me down, I would now give you a 5.
Yeah.
So I finally gave her an explanation why there. And she said, which number do you want to give, 10 or 5? What an absolute waste.
Yes. She was just interested in the number.
Yeah. And then so they'll say, oh, 85% of people recommend us all.
And that's down to the training, isn't it, Anne? The training of those people who are asking those surveys as well. If they'd have come to you, then they could have done a much better job. Yeah. Thank you so much. I've had fun and learnt a lot as well. Can you just tell us, how can people contact you, please, Anne?
Okay. So my website is customerlove.co.uk. I'm on LinkedIn, Anne Williamson Customer Love. If you search me, I have got a little bit longer on hair on there. I need to have another photo session done. Okay. I'm on Twitter at Customer Love UK, and feel free to phone me as well. You can mobile on 07966 190 743. You can call or WhatsApp or text on that. That's a business line. And I have a landline, so I can never quite remember the number. I think it's 01772 367122. If it's not me, you're going to get somebody completely random.
I love it. Oh, thank you, Anne. I've really enjoyed that. And so just for everybody that's listening to this is the first time we've done this, so apologies for any interruptions with sound. We are using Wi-Fi, and we'll see how we can improve that, but apologies for that. you will be able to find this on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'll probably share some clips on Facebook as well. So you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Liz Pollard, Enabling Bold Moves. My website is lizpollardconsultancy.com, so you can find me on there. And you can drop me a text on 07896 950017 or give me a ring. So thank you very much for listening, and look out for the next one. And Anne's going to do a plug for her book. Go for it.
So there's my book. It's called Are Your One Night Stand Business? You can message me for a copy. You can buy it on Amazon and pay the postage, or you can buy it off my website as well. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Anne. See you later.
Thank you.